lift my soul. Oh Lord, I trust in thee. My God, let me not be shamed nor foes triumph for me. Let none that wait on me be put to shame at all. But those that without cause transgress, let shame upon them fall. Shew me thy ways, O Lord, thy paths. O teach thou me, and do thou lead me in thy truth. Therein my teacher be. For thou art God that does to me salvation send. And I upon thee all the day expecting to attend. Thy tender mercies, Lord, I pray thee to remember loving kindnesses, for they have been of old forever. Sins and faults of youth, do thou, O Lord, forget. After thy mercy think on me, and for thy goodness great. God good and upright is the way he'll sinners show. And meek in judgment he will guide and make his path to know. The whole paths of the Lord are truth and mercy sure. To those that do his covenant keep, and testimonies pure. Now for thine own name's sake, O Lord, I eat untrue. Pardon my iniquity, for it is very grace. But man is he that fears the Lord and doth him serve. And shall he teach the way that he shall choose, and still observe? His soul shall dwell at ease, and his posterity shall flourish still and not fear. In error shall be. With those that fear him is the secret of the Lord. The knowledge of his covenant he will to them afford. Mine eyes upon the Lord continually assess, for he it is that shall bring forth my feet out of the net. Turn unto me thy face.
All right. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the show. It's Thursday. I might do the psalm intros on Thursday. Thinking about that. Like, which theme should I pick when it's time to show those things? I love what Mr. Derrida put together on YouTube. And so I love inserting them every once in a while into the show. Welcome everybody. My name is Stuart Davis, flawed man of God, a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, non-denominational Protestant, 41 years old, 41 years in the faith. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right. Other times I'll get it wrong. But no matter what, if you're listening to this stream, if you're hearing my voice, you can count on getting my honest takes on whatever it is that we're discussing. So, if you are somebody who is wanting to learn more about Christianity, thinking about becoming one, but unsure about how to go about it, you're not convinced, you're looking for that reason. You're reaching, but you feel like something is missing in your life. And you're wondering what it could be. You feel like it's Jesus. But you just don't know how to take those first steps. And I can offer you a quick spoiler alert. You're right. If you're seeking Jesus, you're on the right path. And if you want to stop by here and learn more about it, that'll be awesome. You're part of the reason why I started this channel in the first place. And I would love for you to stick around and see what it is that I can tell you about Christianity, because you're not going to find a professionally done, scripted out, contrived production like you'll see on Instagram or TikTok or these YouTube shorts. No, this is very this is very amateur. This is very for lack of a better term, humble in the way that we approach things. And maybe you're worried about going to church because you think the pastor might be a conflict of interest, because look, he's paid to do it. That's his job. Well, I can understand that from an outsider's perspective. That's not the way it works, not the way it's supposed to work anyway. But I can understand why you might be concerned about that. Maybe instead of hearing it from the pulpit, you want to hear it from the guy sitting in the pew next to you. Somebody who can tell you, look, I've been doing this a long time. This is what faith means to me. This is what Jesus has done for me. These are the blessings that I have received. And this is why this is for you. If that's what you're looking for, like I said, stick around, pull up a chair, and settle in. Join the group. And if you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school, small group oriented. It's all centered around God. It's all centered around the Word and our faith. But, we talk about each other. We talk about what's going on. And you don't have to reveal personal details. You don't even have to be in the chat. You don't even have to talk. You can just listen if you want. But we're here to listen to you if you do have anything you want to say. And having said that, whether you are just trying to feel out Christianity, or you've been a Christian all your life and you are more knowledgeable and more mature in your faith than I am, or somewhere in between, get in that chat. Get in that chat and be part of the group. We got a great group of folks in the chat. They tune in and night out. It's a little sparse tonight, but that's okay. Great group of folks tune in and night out. They make this show better. They add their opinions. They add their takes. They add their jokes about me into the chat, and we have a great time. That's why they keep coming back, I'm assuming. It's why I enjoy seeing them come back. I'd like to see you come back. And it doesn't matter. If you want to know how to contribute to the chat, it's easy. It's easy. Just give your opinion. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Where do you think I'm right and where do you think I'm wrong? What unique experience or insights thoughts do you have that can add to whatever we're discussing? Ask questions. I may not have the answers, and maybe there's a good chance I won't have answers to what, but we can talk about it. And if you like what you see, like the episode, like it here on YouTube, subscribe if you want to see more episodes, and if you want to be notified when we stream, which is around this time every Monday through Thursday, 8:35 p.m. Eastern time, hit that notification bell as a reminder. And like I said, join the crew. This isn't a money grab. I'm not going to ask you to donate to PayPal, to my whatever the donation things are. I'm only here to grift souls for Jesus. Grift souls for Jesus, because that's what I want. And with that said, how's everybody doing? Sorry guys that I postponed last night. My daughter, who seems like she is perpetually teething, has a mild cold, and coupled with the teething has really made nights difficult, especially for the wife. And so what we have noticed is it's easier for me. She doesn't want to settle when her mama's in the room. That's her. She's her person. And so if her mama's in the room, she's not going to go to sleep. She's going to want to just hang out. But if I'm in the room, she'll settle and go to sleep. And so, especially with her not feeling well, I was going to be on standby. And I was all the way up almost until showtime in the nursery with her. But I figured if she woke up and I was going to have to be called away, it was going to be at least 15 minutes probably to get her settled back down. And I just didn't want to take the chance of starting an episode and then ending it. Halfway through or just at the beginning of our stream. And so as such, so I postponed it. She's feeling a little bit better today. I got her down about almost about an hour and a half ago. And she's snoozing right now. Give Momo a break. So that's it's good. So family's first, right? Family doesn't come before God, but this is a ministry that is done on the side. And I have to make sure I take care of my household before I can take care of anybody else's or provide any type of extracurricular discipleship. But it's good to see you guys. Veritex, Nernaeth, Alex, who I think I saw, because I get a little counter up here from YouTube or from StreamYards. I don't know how accurate it is a lot. But when I started streaming, and I started with the Psalter on YouTube, the musical Psalter, I saw 2 viewers drop down to 1, and I thought to myself, that had to have been Alex waiting for the stream to start and listening to the normal intro music and then going, I'm not sticking around for this. Cashing out. Just walking out. I'll be back later. I don't know if that was the case, Alex. It's hilarious if that's true though. Nico, what's going on? Hey, how's it going? Glad to hear she's feeling better. She is. And yeah. Yeah, so it's like I said, it's still a lot of sleepless nights. Like I said, the perpetual teething is not fun because it wakes her up a lot during the night. She is not a restful BB when it comes to that. But most of that rests on the wife, and she has been awesome about taking care of it. But I want to make sure she gets plenty of rest as well. Hey, Veritex, got to pick out a new refrigerator and kitchen appliances for the new house. Dishwasher is selected. Fridge is hard to select. Dude, I like I don't like paying for them. I like shopping for refrigerators because I'm always thinking about all the food I'm going to put in there. Um, but my ideal top, it could be one door, it could be two, it could be the French doors on the top, ice chest on the bottom. Thought that was the best thing they started doing. No ice maker in the door. I want the ice maker in the drawer, freezer drawer, because you lose so much space. You lose so much space putting the ice maker in the door. It ain't worth it. So the one we've got is just like that. French doors open up, freezer on the bottom, pull it out. It's two drawers, and the second drawer has the ice machine, and you can just scoop it up, scoop the cup up, and whatever. The water dispenser is actually, and they've started doing this, built into the side of the fridge, so it's not part of the door. It's not part of anything. It's right there on the bulkhead of the internal um, the internal wall of the fridge, and that is super nice. So I like that, and which is good for what I paid for it because they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap. So the bottom freezers look like the file cabinets I would put together from Big Lots. Yeah, avoid plumbing in the door; they break. I mean, they all break at some point. Um, but I just don't like. I like mine to be space efficient. I like mine to be space efficient. Because I got a lot of food, a lot of leftovers. For me, it's a lot of leftovers. I like snacking on leftovers when my wife cooks as well as she does. Um, and she cooks a lot, usually much more than we can eat. And I love saving it for later. Go to the restaurant, fill up on appetizers a lot of times. Um, bring that doggy bag home. So I said this a while ago, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it. I know I haven't talked about it recently, but Veritex, that you were talking about the new house, tell you about this house and how it came to be our house. Um, what's going on, Alias? So, me and my wife got married. We were living in a condo. We did not wait to get married to move in together. We lived with each other before we were even engaged. So, I'm not a perfect person. There's many things I wish I didn't do. um, but we were living in a condo. Um, when we got back, um, it was when we got back from our honeymoon. It wasn't long after that the housing market crashed in 2008, or yeah, 2008. Um, I'd been working at my job for less than a year, but things were holding together pretty good, pretty well. Well, that winter, close to Christmas, we got a notification that our rent was going to be going up at our condo like $700, like something ridiculous. And I was like, "Dad, gone! I can buy a house. That's a mortgage payment." And so we decided, okay, things are looking okay. Jobs hanging in there. Even though I'm the most junior, I would be the first probably to be let go. Um, I'm going to we're gonna go house hunting. And so January, we found a house. It wasn't foreclosed and it was about 50 minutes away from work, and we both worked pretty close to each other. Oh yeah, no, um, rent was going up $700, not up to $700, but it was still probably much cheaper than rent was in LA. All right. condos, which were really apartments that they were advertising as condominiums, just outside, just next to a golf community. Really pretty, really nice. It was good. Right next, very close to where we work. So, but this house that we were looking at was it was much further away. Like I said, almost an hour commute, but we could commute together. We were doing almost that anyway. So we went ahead and put an offer on the house, and they accepted it. Like I said, wasn't foreclosed. Lake community. It was a it was an estate. The lady who had died, it was an older lady who had died. She had bought it, had it built back in the 90s after her husband, who was a World War II pilot, passed away. And she donated all the proceeds of the house sale. She had this in her will to the Fisher House Foundation, which Fisher House Foundation is, if you guys aren't aware of it, it is a place that builds and maintains living spaces for the families of veterans as they are rehabbing in hospitals. So nice sum of money went to that. I think that's why they were so eager to sell the property, because they were trying to sell it in the middle of the housing crisis. The nearest relative, the executor was a nephew who lived in Washington State, and he wasn't getting anything out of it. So we ended up sliding into a great deal. So we lived there about 5 years, and housing crisis ends. Right, everything's on the uptick. We go to have our first kid, and we're like, okay, nice retirement community, but the county doesn't have a great school system. We're thinking about the future. So we find a house. We find a house halfway between where my in-laws were living and where we worked. And that was so that they could maintain our in-laws were going to move in with us, or my in-laws were going to move in with us, watch our kid, and we were going to kind of watch after them because they're getting older. And we found a great place. Meanwhile, we sold our house like that. Everything was supposed to be perfect. We were going to move out. We were going to move out of our house. We had permission to, when we moved the stuff out, to go ahead and move it into the new house. Three days after we closed on our house, we were going to close on the house we were selling. We were going to close on the house we were buying. In those 3 days, we were going to stay with my parents. Meanwhile, my in-laws are getting their house ready for rent. They're going to rent it out. And they've got all their stuff boxed up. So, as we're moving stuff out on the day we're closing on our house that we're selling, we get a call from the real estate agent. Hey, we've got a problem. You're getting a VA loan, and the VA doesn't like the fact that it's on a private road with no road maintenance agreement. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, they're worried about, who's responsible for maintaining this road. Now, the private road on this house was very long, but it was also had several houses. It was like almost 18 houses on this private road. Well manicured, fresh gravel. It was well maintained. And I grew up on a private road. So, and I said, hey, look, I can take care of a private road. I know how to run it. I know how to drive a tractor, know how to run a scraper. I can take care of this. And I'm an able-bodied, to let them know, I'm an able-bodied, but I'm not under disability for anything. I'm young. I'm just turned 30 at this point. I'm young, and this is no problem. So the VA waived that off. So we're like, oh, good, fine. So now we've crossed that hurdle. Well, now I'm in the house that I'm getting ready to buy and close on, trying to organize furniture and move into it. We get a call from the real estate or the mortgage company. Hey, we got a problem. The property, there's no deeded easement from the state maintained road to the private road that we live on. In essence, our property is landlocked. Title insurance won't insure it. There's no guarantee. It's like unless you pay full cash for this house, we can't close. And so we're like, well, crap. Now, when we had the road maintenance agreement issue, the first thing we did was ask the neighborhood. Or first thing we did actually was ask the sellers, hey, do y'all have a road maintenance agreement? No. I was like, okay, well, we're running into this issue. They didn't do anything to help us. Okay, well, I don't know what you expect us to do. Okay, well, I made sure it happened because I wanted, I was ready to move, right? We call them back and be like, hey, we got an issue with the plot that you on this house. They throw their hands up. No, we're not gonna. Nothing we can do about it, I guess. Okay, so we asked some of the people around the house. They'd never run into it. Apparently, they had been. This had been something that had never looked into. It wasn't until the housing crisis happened that people started to actually crack down on things like, hey, there's no deeded easement. You know, all these checklists because, hey, everybody wants to sell real estate. That's what kind of got us in the problem that we had. You know, being kind of sloppy with the paperwork just because you're making a sale. Well, now they're clamped down on everything. So that's why they noticed this. So everybody was kind of surprised about it. My dad, who had been on the board of supervisors in the neighboring county, told me, he's like, dude, this is going to, or dude, he said, son, this is going to take forever. This is going to take about a year because you're going to have to get surveyors out there. You're going to have to get records going through things, the county records to look through things. You're going to have to get zoning. This is all going to take a lot of time. Meanwhile, we can't close on this house. Meanwhile, we can't live in this house. And meanwhile, me and my wife and our son, our infant son, are in one bedroom in my parents' house. We are going insane. We talked to the sellers, no help whatsoever. And I said, that's 2 red flags, 2 showstoppers right there, and no help from the sellers. I'm finding someplace else. So we looked at a couple of things, and then we found this place. And immediately when I walked in, I go, it's in my hometown. It's near my parents. It's on a nice road. It's nice. It's next to a nice school. And I walked in just from the foyer. I was like, this is probably going to be it. Then I found this space up here, and I was like, sold. It had and it had a even better in-law suite for my in-laws to live in. And so we said, boom. The sellers were on vacation, but we had the real estate agent sent them a note, said, hey, these guys, they want to put an offer in immediately, and but they need to get out of their contract first. And so it's like, hey, we'll offer the other folks at the other house a little bit of money as recompense for the deal falling through, even though they really don't deserve it because they didn't make sure their paperwork was in order before they sold it to us. And we'll be all okay. And in this county, real estate doesn't sit. That's why we were so anxious to get. That was another reason why we're so anxious. So we talked to our real estate. So our real estate agent talks to the real estate agent of the house that we're having issues with. They come back and go, they're not letting you out of the contract. It's a 90-day contract. They're not letting you out of the contract. What do you mean? They think you can buy the house, or they think that we could never get a straight answer out of it. They thought we could buy the house, but then they said that we were using the excuse of the title insurance to cover over the fact that we couldn't provide financing, and it was absolutely stupid. So we said, look, we'll give you $1,500 as a sorry, we got into this and we're backing out. Put the house back on the market. And so they came back and said $10,000 is what we want. And at this time we had lawyers involved. And our lawyer laughed at theirs and said, "You are out of your mind." We said, "Look, we'll pay $2,500. $2,500 and be done with it." They sat on that offer for a week and came back and said $9,000. And I got that news. I was sitting at my desk at work and I was furious. I was getting ready to bite off the next. I was snapping at people. I was ready to bite the head off of the next person who came up to me with something I didn't like. And then I sat there and I thought to myself, this isn't worth it. This feeling. We made good money selling as proceeds selling our house over what we paid for it. Just pay the money, be done with it. And so I called him up and said, do it. Get it out. I want out of this contract now. And so we had to get the money and go to their real estate agent's office. Our real estate agent had to take it from us and give it to them. And I put it in an envelope and I put the passage in Leviticus that talks about defrauding your neighbor. I wrote that on the envelope and gave it to him. I was upset, but happy because we were able to close a couple of weeks later on this house. Now, when you talk about the God moments, if we had gotten into that house, if nothing had happened, none of those red flags had popped up, if nobody at the title insurance company had paid attention to that bit of land on the deed, probably wouldn't be gone connected to the church that I was at. I wouldn't have met Steve's brother, who I'm very close with, and his family. A lot of things might not have happened to get me to this point where I'm doing this show. Because that was the time still where I was not going to church. I still believed in God. I still believed in the Bible and what he said, but I was weak. I was weak in my faith. Easily swayed. Because of that, we go to this church that we're at. My wife connects into it. My wife has become saved. My kids grow up in an environment with God around them. We're learning about God all around them. It's amazing. And so that's my house story. And that is one of the moments in my life where I'm like, God put things in my life to bring me here specifically. God wanted me to be here. How long he wants me here, I don't know, but he wanted me here for as long as he needs me here. For as long as, or more likely, as long as I need need to be here. Need, not want. I like my house though. I like being here. So anyway, Veritex. That was our nightmare story. We were stuck in that house, stuck in my parents' house for 2 months. 2.5 months. It was just supposed to be 3 days. Anyway, first world problems. Let's talk about Proverbs. We were in Proverbs 2 nights ago. Proverbs 13. We got halfway through, and it was just a little over halfway through. But it was just, we had a lot to talk about. So we cut it short. Oh, okay. How do you do half a proverb? Well, if you knew, or Nath, I know you're saying that. If this was Proverbs 3, that would be hard to do. But this is Proverbs 13, where it's actually multiple proverbs. Multiple proverbs. Multiple proverbs. Sounds like I missed a good stream unless you were talking sports ball. No, actually, we were talking almost exclusively Proverbs. What's going on, Steve? What's going on, Neo? What's going on, the Carl we know? We, not just me. We know and love. Proverbs we know. We went through it. It was just, I mean, we were an hour and 20 minutes in still, and we were only on Proverbs. We had just gotten to Proverbs 15, so I was like, yeah, let's revisit this later. We don't have to rush. We're not going to rush through the scripture just to fit one chapter in a night. We'll take as much time as we need to. So there we go. So let's start back up where we left off. You tune out when it's sports ball? Well, if you want to know, Figs is beating me pretty soundly right now in our fantasy matchup. It's stuck in my craw. So we're going to talk about scripture because that's wholesome and not my thoughts of me wanting to strangle Figs right now. Proverbs 13, verse 15. Good understanding wins favor from others. Wait, is that the one we left off with? Hold on. Yeah. Good understanding wins favor from others, but the way of the unfaithful is hard, like barren, dry soil. Good understanding. So we're going to figure out good understanding of what? Good understanding of God's commandments? Is this good understanding in how we see wisdom? Wisdom viewed? If that's good, if it's in the context of wisdom, good understanding of wisdom wins favor from others. Yeah, right. People, if you've got wisdom and you show yourself to be a wise, responsible, righteous person, and you're in that kind of community and culture. Not saying that would make you if you were in some places in California that this would be thought of as a virtue. But in a place that respects that, cherishes that, you're going to win favor from others. You probably have helped out people. And people have, and especially the elders of the community probably respect you for listening. But the way of the unfaithful is hard, like barren, dry soil. I like barren, dry soil because usually when I think of people who are unfaithful, people who are unfaithful in core beliefs and principles at all, in period, they're all for right now and what makes sense to them or what serves them the most. Thank you, Nanath. What serves them the best in the moment? People who just don't have faith in God. Period. Very similar core concept there with being unfaithful. Folks like that don't tend to put down roots. They don't tend to congregate with the community. They don't fit in. They're not respected because they're not trustworthy. They're in for themselves. There's always an angle. That can make a hard life. But like I said, barren, dry soil, hard to put down roots. You make it that way with your unfaithfulness. If that is the path you choose and you want to live, it's not going to be easy. And I am convinced just from the lack of authenticity on the faces of so many of these people who get on that I see on Instagram, these deconstructionists and atheists and all these other guys out there. They all look borderline crazy, and they all look miserable. New evangelicals, who is apparently a guy who deconstructed because of the concept of hell. He can't believe that God would send people to hell. When he posts videos of himself on Instagram, he looks like he's sweating through the effort of trying to look normal, of trying to look chill. And when you don't have that reassurance because you're out on your own, a lot of anxiety there. If he thinks that's bad now, wait until God starts asking him why he left over such a dumb reason. Sweating 20 hours a day. Were you sick with unfaithfulness, Alex? Huh? Were you sick with your apostasy? So many caught up in the if God loves me, he will let me do all the cocaine I want. I think I know where you're going with that, Hernan. It is I'm just kidding, Alex. I know better than that. But it's hard. The way of the unfaithful is hard. Every prudent and self-disciplined man acts with knowledge, but a closed-minded fool who refuses to learn displays his foolishness for all to see. Like this is one of them again. The careful, measured approach, usually quiet, versus the fly right in, seat of your pants. Geez, I'm loud and obnoxious, foolish. I feel like my show's under attack right now from this proverb. because I come in here unscripted. But I'm leaning on scripture to discipline me while while I'm doing this. Every prudent and self-disciplined man acts with knowledge. Yes. But I mean prudence leans on knowledge. It's all about that. Self-discipline, the ability to just, hey, I'm going to keep my calm, I'm going to keep my cool. I'm going to be patient, I'm going to be thoughtful in how I'm going to approach a situation versus the person who's just going to walk in and be like, yeah, let me mouth off about everything, pretend I know what I'm talking about, and then everybody's going to think I'm a moron. Quiet waters run deep. Okay. Better be thought of a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt. Or speak and remove all doubt. Think before you act. I tell my son, I use the old saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You're slow, careful, measured, considerate in what you're doing. You'll end up being faster, completing the task in the long run. Irenaeus said, I think it is important to remember the knowledge is truth, not just book learning. Some people are intelligent but have no knowledge. Intelligent is the capacity. To me, it's the capacity to understand, not necessarily the desire or ability to understand. A wicked messenger falls into hardship, but a faithful ambassador brings healing. A wicked messenger. Who was the guy who was David's general who we couldn't stand underneath? Was that Joab? Joash? Talk about wicked messengers. This is a guy, and that Solomon is very familiar with that particular dude. Guys who represent Joab, thug for life. Joab is an example. He was supposed to orchestrate a peace. He ended up killing somebody or having somebody killed, and it messed so many things up. If you don't represent your patron, your Lord, God, perhaps, well, with ill intention, with again, seeking your own self gratification out of it, not worried about the truth, knowledge. It doesn't end well for you. Might, again, many sins see the payoff in the short term. They never pay off in the long run. And the longer you go about it, the more that becomes very clear. Sometimes you're just so much into routine, you're so used to it, you're so addicted to it, can't get off the ride. Faithful ambassador brings healing. Represent well. You can stop conflict before it begins. You can bring people together. You can heal hurts. You can correct misunderstandings. You can do as what your Lord intended for you as an ambassador. We should think about that specifically as Christians. Are we being wicked messengers? A good example for that is wolves, bad preachers. We just talked about the new evangelicals. Guys who are wicked, more likely to to turn and try to make sense, tell everybody what makes sense to them as opposed to what they are told to communicate. You be like that, or do you want to be somebody who follows the Great Commission, um, heeds the commandments, follows the commandments of God, tries to emulate the example that Christ set for us? Be worshipful. Be that example for others to see. Poverty and shame will come to him who refuses instruction and discipline, but he who accepts and learns from reproof or censure is honored. Don't learn from your mistakes. You're going to be keep repeating them. Don't learn from you. You ignore people when they try to help you. They're going to stop trying to help you. You keep taking chances and falling flat on your face. People aren't going to feel sorry for you. Accept your punishment. Accept your instruction. Accept discipline. Learn from it. They say you learn more from losing than you do from winning. Well, losing would be, and you can take learning or sinning, and especially being caught and exposed um, as a loss. What do you learn from that? So many out there don't take it for the value that it is. We are blessed, especially here with post resurrection. We are blessed with an enormity of second chances. Everybody who is on in this chat, everybody who is listening to this stream, everybody who is or me, we've had more than we've had more than second chances. We've had ample um times where we have been disciplined, punished, exposed with our sin. And if not by other people, within ourselves and by God. We have to accept it. It's part of repentance. It's part of faith in God is to listen and accept that. And through that through those humbling experiences, if you listen and try to fix your problem, you're considered honorable. We love a comeback story. As much as we love tearing people down, oftentimes we love seeing folks pull themselves up out of the dirt. Be better, improve ourselves, and come back better than ever. That's y'all. It's each and every one of you. That's me. That's your friends around you. That's your family. That's people you don't like, you can't stand. And we can list all the sins and how you can go, but that'll take too long. Desire is realized I'm sorry, desire realized is sweet to the soul, but it is detestable to fools who turn away from evil which they have planned. Oh, but it is detestable to fools to turn away from evil. Desire realized is sweet to the soul, but it is detestable to fools to turn away from evil, which they have planned. I mean, both these are truism. Desire realized is, look, I get something I want. Ooh, it feels good. Feels good. I've been praying about this, God, and we finally realized that finally my prayers have been answered, especially in a way that I wanted. I got my way. It feels good. Feels good, man. But I guess even if a fool gets what they want before they do their dastardly deed, before they commit their sin, they will still continue to commit it because they've planned it and they want to do it, and they're fools, so they are in love with wickedness. He who walks as a companion with wise men will be wise, but the companions of conceited and dull witted fools are fools themselves and will experience harm. Ooh, you are the company you keep. Pick your mentors well. Have friends that make you better. Mine do. Mine do. I try to look to men that I find honorable as folks that I look up to. As folks that I want to emulate. Obi-Wan, who is more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? I was wondering who was going to write that first, Nerdan. Not surprising it came from you. It's because you're so in love with Disney. If you pick your mentors well, wise men, godly men, righteous men, and you spend time with them and you listen to them and you talk with them, that will rub off on you. The companions of idiots, fools, companions of the conceited, if you hang around that, it's contagious. That kind of stupidity, that kind of hubris is contagious, and you will catch it. Then again, life comes at you fast. Adversity pursues sinners, but the consistently upright will be rewarded with prosperity. I think this continues to along the lines of um, both sinfulness and righteousness create their own momentum. Not to say that it can't be interrupted, but it builds on itself. Good decisions, good behavior, righteous behavior. It just makes it easier to make these decisions. You get used to maybe sometimes having to stand in an uncomfortable position as far as, with how other people look towards you or what the expectations are, people around you, standing alone on your own principles, that kind of stuff. but there's satisfaction in that, and so you continue, and you're able to push past it. Forgiveness of people, showing grace, um, like not giving in when somebody pressures you about what into doing something, or pressures you about doing something that God doesn't want you to do. It becomes easier. You get that prosperity. You prosper in your faithfulness. Meanwhile, if you are constantly living in sin and surrounding yourself with sin, that's going to pile. It's just going to continue to pile on you. Um, Losing yourself in drug addiction, it's a horrible thing, or any other type of addiction. That addiction is adversity in and of itself. You put your own obstacles in front of you. A good man leaves inheritance to his children's children. The wealth of the sinners is stored up for the hands of the righteous. Good man leaves up an inheritance for his children's children. You provider. Got to have friends first. Oh, you got to have friends first. I'm your friend, Steve. I don't know if I'm a great. I don't know if I'm a good enough of one of these friends. I don't know if your brother realizes it, but I do look up to him a great deal. I think your brother has been for some time. Yeah, that's true. This distance. I think your brother has been for some time elder material, and would have been good as an elder for grace. However, um, the place in his life that he's at, with kids, with his responsibilities in his career, um, just taking him out of the area. I think that it's not a good time. But does he have the approach? Does he have the personality? Yes. I think he's right there. I think he checks all the boxes. But, you know, got to make sure you're there with the kids. You got to make sure that you're taking up the hair. He does look like grandpa. but those people are around him. And luckily for you, I mean, even though he is some great distance away from you, Steve, he's there if you ever want to call. Um, he's there, right? He is a person close to you in heart, even if it maybe not physically. But yeah, and I don't know. As far as it's difficult. I was until I had this group that I've got now, until I got to Grace, really, and reconnected with a friend from a while who I wasn't as close to as I am now. Um, I didn't have many friends either. I did the value and never really did, right? Not in the way that are looking out for me and I'm looking out for them. So I cherish what I have and know it has value. Exactly what we're talking about here in Proverbs just reinforces that. Um, Good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Good man is looking out for his family. He's good looking out for his line, his bloodline is looking out for his tribe. He is trying to set up his people for success for generations to come. The wealth of the sinner it's all going to get spent. And where will it go? Generally to the responsible, good people looking to take care of themselves and their family. Excuse me. I was very busy today. I finished eating 5 minutes before I started the stream. I've got some indigestion. There we go. Abundant food is the fallow, uncultivated ground of the poor. But without protection, it is swept away by injustice. Injustice. Abundant food is in the fallow, uncultivated ground of the poor, but without protection, it is swept away by injustice. This one's an interesting one. I don't know what to do with this one. Nernath, any thoughts here? Is this kind of like the old 40K saying the open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unlatched? Is that what this is similar to? Abundant food, blessings, it seems like. It's in the fallow, uncultivated ground of the poor, the unrefined, maybe, the knowledgeable, uh, the poor in faith. Oh, okay. Think it means that there's potential. There's potential in each of you. But if you don't protect it with dedication, wisdom, righteousness, steadfast support for godly principles, at the slightest bit of tragedy and injustice, that kind of stuff, you're not grounded in your faith. Be grounded in your faith. You will lose it. Easy come, easy go. Following Jesus and keeping the path. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Or we are poor in need. This is Nernath. Where we are poor. Or hold on, let me start back. Nernath said they could grow a lot of food, but there are robbers that would steal it unless you plan for it. Well, he said injustice. I think of that as things that don't go according to plan. Or we are poor and need God to protect us when we work. There's a lot of ways we can go with this. I don't know. This one's a tough one for me. Just because I don't know. Oh, here we go. Here we go. He who withholds the rod of discipline hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines and trains him diligently and appropriately with wisdom and love. Spare the rod, spoil the child. This is the one. If you don't hold your kids accountable, and this applies to people outside of that, even other folks around, the people around you. But if you don't hold your kids accountable, do you really love them? Do you love them and care about them enough to make them uncomfortable, to make yourself uncomfortable in punishing them harshly so that they learn a lesson? He who loves his kid disciplines and trains him diligently and appropriately with wisdom and love. Not going overboard, not doing it just because you're mad. You're doing it because they need the instruction. This is what they need to learn from their mistakes. not out of anger. Discipline, training, wisdom, love. Does this describe how God treats us? Oh, it's the why did the police arrest him? He's only robbed a gas station. It wasn't a Walmart. Oh, the people were robbing the Walmart. Why are they arresting him? It's thus the Walmart. They can afford it. The building. Your Nate, you know where I'm getting ready to go with that. Building's got insurance. You ain't got life insurance. But I mean, that's out there. Why did they arrest that man? He was just stealing. It's not like he killed somebody. Okay, do we just let everybody steal then? Are we in anarchy? This is where this is where this is one of those places where I depart with the libertarians on their on a lot of their viewpoints. Discipline, training, wisdom, and love. This isn't about violating the nap. This is about instilling good morals and understanding why it's important. You should be in your own tribe. Everything has consequences. There are consequences to everything. Some good, some consequences are good, some consequences are bad. The town. Oh, love is love and love wins. I saw that on a stupid post earlier today. You do it because you care. You do it because it's important. Or you care because it's important. You care because they're important. You're important to God. As sinful and as sinful as you may feel you are, and you probably are worse of a sinner than you think, and as insignificant as you feel that you are, and you're not as insignificant as you think, you are still important to God. Important enough to die on a cross and resurrect, beat death. The nap tell the kids to take them. They get in trouble if they violate nap time. The consistently righteous has enough to satisfy his appetite, but the stomach of the wicked is in need of bread. We are a declining republic. We need more Proverbs, but are going to get a lot of revelations. Steve said, I want nap time. Yeah, nap time's fun. We are just ask Joe Biden. Yeah. Oh, he went there. No, why did he do that? We are a declining republic. We need more Proverbs, but are going to get a lot of revelations. Yeah. Well, here it is here. We're consistently righteous, have enough to satisfy his appetite. I can exist with what God has blessed me with, and that means part of that is my own ability. God has blessed me with my own ability to make the best of my situation. But the stomach of the wicked is in need of bread. It's never enough. You're never satisfied. You're always seeking something. That bread you need is the body of Christ. It's broken. for the forgiveness of sins. It's Jesus' body. That's the bread. And there you have it. Proverbs 13. Not bad. Not bad. We moved through that a lot faster because I had a big old side conversation on here. All right. So we're at the end of the show for the week. So Alex Moore, Steve Hawley, alias Nernath, Neo Rice, Nico, Veritax. Well, I feel like left in the middle of my house story that I talked about specifically because of him. Anyway, he may be still in there. Carl, we know and love. To Octavia. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being part of the chat. Thank you for that. Hey, Thad the man, too, coming out of nowhere. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being part of the chat, contributing. Appreciate it. Helping me when I get stumped. Giving us your opinions. Again, like you said, it makes the show better. It's great. It's great working with y'all on this. This is not a solo effort. You are appreciated. To everybody listening who is not in the chat because you either don't want to be or can't be, it's okay. I'm just glad you're finding something that you want to tune into regularly, and you find enough enjoyment that you come back. To everybody who is catching this on replay, sorry I missed you. Thank you for listening. I hope to catch you live sometime. Y'all all have a good, safe weekend. See you all on Monday. And good night. God bless. Go to church.